I can't believe it's been over a year since I played Final Fantasy VII Remake. A lot has happened since then, and I would like to think that my channel has come a long way. It will forever hold a special place in my heart because it was a big comfort at the start of the lockdown. Turning on my PS4 and loading the game and hearing the music, it was fantastic. Now Intergrade is out, finally running at 60 FPS, and along with it came Intermission. A whole chapter dedicated to Yuffie or Yuffie. I don't know, I just call her Yuffie. Coming in at $20 a euro, it's relatively cheap and provides 5 or 6 hours more content. But is it worth it? And how does it feel in 60 FPS? Let's find out. The DLC pack starts with an introduction to Yuffie, a 16-year-old ninja from Wutai on a mission to infiltrate Shinra to find the ultimate materia. Coincidentally, the majority of this DLC takes place in Sector 7 slums, visiting locations from Cloud's apartment, and yes, the door has been fixed, and the Porch of 7th Heaven. It's set during the events of Remake Part 1, and you can see the original party coming home from blowing up the reactors, and hear the reaction of the locals. This was really clever. I'd imagine this made the DLC rather inexpensive to make since there are a lot of retreaded locations. Typically this could be an issue, however Yuffie is hands down the best character to use in combat, so this is where the freshness comes from. The gameplay is much of the same. A fun action turn-based combat hybrid thingamajiggy, some light exploration and puzzles, if you want to call them that, and then some side quests that add a fun challenge and extra content. And this is a perfect segue into the new mini-game Fort Condor. Square were clever here, turning a whole section of the original into a tower defense strategy minigame. Immediately I was hooked, collecting the extra figures and boards to give me more options. Now it's nothing too deep, just a rock paper scissors system, and with a small bit of strategy you can beat every challenger quite easily. A bit more depth would have been nice, but despite this I had a blast in Fort Condor. As for the combat, feck me, this is fantastic. Look, I love the combat system in Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it's even better in 60 FPS. On top of this, Yuffie feels smoother than Tifa for combos and has range and close combat options. Launching your ninja star at the enemy from a distance, knocking him up into the air and unleashing a flurry of combos was so satisfying and it will never get old. Two standouts are the ninjutsu skills and synergizing with Sonon. You can imbue your weapon with any of the main elements so you can always be dealing stagger damage. Synergy is activated with a press of L2, and now Sonon will attack in tandem with Yuffie, and each of Yuffie's abilities will then have a synergized variant, with flashy animations and more damage. It's pretty easy to see how fun the combat is, but it's something you have to feel for yourself. I can sit here and explain everything about it, but trust me, it feels fantastic. The bosses in particular stood out with some amazing music and fun mechanics. I won't show to avoid spoilers, but there is one that constantly changed weapons throughout the fight, and it had me switching up my strategy a lot. The upgrade system is back from Remake Part 1 and it's as good as ever, however due to the length of the DLC it almost felt pointless spending too much time upgrading my weapons and items, because it was over before it even began. It's split into two chapters, one in Sector 7 and the other in the Shinra building. The second chapter felt almost like a gauntlet. The exploration parts were tedious, just press the button, climb the fence and then rinse and repeat until the combat sections. However, once the combat began I completely forgot about this and it was just plain and simple fun. And that leads me on to my main gripe. Yuffie is an endearing character and I can't wait to see more of her in the future, but I felt the Sonon wasn't developed well, and in the end I didn't care about him at all. He came across just a typical male character and that's all really. It's a hard task to develop a character with mere 5 or 6 hours, and I think I only felt the connection with Yuffie because I have played the original game. As a gameplay experience, Intermission excels, and I think my €20 was well spent because of it, and I was itching for more Final Fantasy VII Remake. However, the story wasn't interesting and didn't add much to the narrative. Now, a few bits did stand out and I'm sure they'll be explained in the direct-to-DVD anime that is only being released in Poland. But as of right now, I'm left with even more questions and the DLC didn't answer any of them. One thing I can say for certain is that I'm even more hyped for Part 2 now. How I ever played that game at 30 FPS is beyond me. The difference is crazy. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have you played Intermission? If so, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I really appreciate you watching. Don't forget to subscribe and join the Discord down below, and I'll see you all on the next video.